The world of AI right now is in this state of just massive, massive change. And its biggest players, they're being forced to make some incredibly tough choices. So today, we're going to break down OpenAI's dramatic pivot and what it tells us about the future of AI itself. Okay, so I want you to think about the AI race like it's a giant video game. Every single company has a central goal, right? A main quest that they are desperately trying to complete so they can win. But, just like in any game, along the way, there are always distractions. These really interesting, super flashy projects that just eat up time and resources. Those are the side quests. And that is the billion-dollar question that OpenAI is answering for us right now. They've decided to abandon their side quests, and the consequences are already sending shockwaves through the entire industry. So, why the end of side quests? Well, it's pretty simple, really. The AI race has become so ridiculously competitive that companies just can't afford to do everything anymore. The pressure, especially from rivals like Anthropic, who are just dominating in the coding and business space, is forcing this new era of extreme focus. And wow, this slide right here, it just captures the shift perfectly. Back in 2025, OpenAI was in its let a thousand flowers bloom phase. Kind of like Google, just this voracious approach to exploring every single possibility. But then, wham, by the end of that year, everything changes. A company-wide code red was called to sharpen their focus squarely on the main quest, coding and knowledge work. And look, this wasn't just some small course correction. No way. We are talking about a fundamental company-wide pivot. So let's actually look at how this all went down. And believe me, this change happened fast. Like really fast. This timeline shows a crystal clear path from that broad exploration phase in 2025 straight to the code red in December. The new strategy was then confirmed publicly by leadership early in 2026, and that led to some huge product decisions and casualties just a few months later. So OpenAI's CEO of applications, Fiji Simo, she actually came out and explained the strategy. And what she said makes a ton of sense. This isn't chaos, it's a deliberate choice. It's about moving from that fun exploration phase to a phase of intense, focused execution on what's actually working. And if you want to know just how serious they are, look at this. This says it all. The product team is now called AGI Deployment. That's a huge statement of intent. They've got a new model ready to go, and they're even having CEO Sam Altman narrow his focus to just raising capital and building the massive infrastructure this new quest requires. Now this is the kind of language that makes everyone sit up and pay attention. In a memo to his team, Sam Altman didn't just say their new model, SPUD, was good. He said it could really accelerate the economy. That is a huge claim, designed to rally the entire company around this one single mission. Okay, but a pivot this sharp, this intense, it doesn't happen for free, right? There's always a cost. To double down on the main quest, OpenAI had to make a huge sacrifice, and a very, very public one at that. The first and most public casualty of this new focus was Sora, their text-to-video model. And getting rid of this project wasn't a small decision. It had immediate consequences, directly leading Disney to cancel a planned partnership worth $1 billion. That's how high the stakes are in this game. So, as you can imagine, the community was totally split on this. Some people, like Ahmad Aman here, they basically cheered. They saw Sora as this big, resource-hungry distraction, and they were thrilled to see those valuable GPUs get put toward more serious work. But then you had the other side of the argument. This comment makes such a crucial point. Real innovation requires experimentation. Failure is part of the process. A lot of the time, the lessons you learn from so-called failed side quests are what fuel the success of the main quest later on. This whole debate over Sora, was it a waste of time or a necessary experiment? It actually leads us right into a much bigger, much messier question that OpenAI's pivot forces all of us to confront. With their team now literally called AGI Deployment, what in the world do they even mean by AGI? So what is AGI anyway? Well, the classic textbook definition is pretty straightforward. It's a machine that can perform any intellectual task a human can. Simple idea, right? But in reality, the goalposts are always moving. And here's the thing. The problem is that pretty much everyone has a different definition of AGI. For someone like Jensen, AGI is already here if it can make a simple viral app. For others, like Benjamin Todd, the bar is way higher. And this brings us to this idea of task AGI.
The feeling that AI is amazing at single, specific tasks, but it really struggles to string them together into complex workflows, which, let's be honest, is what most real work actually is.
And that right there, that brings us to the real heart of the matter. And this incredibly intense competition we're seeing, there's really only one definition of AGI that the big players actually care about right now.
This quote from Simon Smith, wow, it just puts everything into perspective. Why would you chase a crowded $680 billion ad market when there's a $40 trillion market in automatable knowledge work just sitting there, waiting to be unlocked? The money is just staggering, and honestly, it explains everything.
Because, see, here's the secret. Building the fancy model is just step one. It's not the end game. The real challenge and the real prize is deployment. It's about getting these tools deep inside the world's biggest companies and reinventing how they work from the ground up. And that's exactly why you're seeing all these AI labs partnering up with major consulting firms.
So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. For companies like OpenAI and Anthropic, the philosophical debate is basically over. The only AGI that really matters is Work AGI.
So what exactly is Work AGI? Well, it's laser-focused on coding and knowledge work. It's an AI specifically designed to automate complex jobs and, just like Sam Altman said, to directly accelerate the economy. This is not a side quest anymore. This is the main quest.
So the AI giants have chosen their main quest. They're all in, betting their entire futures on transforming the way we all work. The only question left is, as this technology starts to roll out, how will it reinvent the work that you do every single day?